This is the gather portion of the class that we're calling Favorite Things, Florals. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can also see this. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then you're going to see just a little bit of a preview of what is going to be happening inside the classroom for Favorite Things, Florals. And if you are on the classroom site, this is a free portion of that class. So you can see what it is we've gathered together to start and kick off this class. So I'm going to jump right into it. This is the unexciting part, but but at the same time, it is kind of exciting to gather our things up and to get ready and get organized and do a little bit of pre-prep for making some really what I think are beautiful things. Okay, I'm just going to start right from the top. Acetate. A lot of these things you're going to notice, I'm not going to repeat myself, but a lot of things you're going to notice I use again and again. Acetate is one of those things I use again and again, along with chipboard. You don't necessarily need a whole 12 by 12 sheet of chipboard. A 6 by 12 would be plenty for what we're going to need in this class. A die cutting machine. I don't have mine out right here. I use the Spellbinders P6 for the most part. All of these supplies are linked either inside the classroom or below in the description here for the YouTube. Dies. Let's talk about dies next. Again, a lot of these you're going to recognize that I'm using over and over again right now. This is Paper Rose Banners 1. And while we used a lot of these in the last class, the smaller one is the one that's going to be used. It's not a necessary item. You can hand notch scrap paper all day long. So don't think that this one is absolutely necessary. Butterflies too. I got some small ones in here, but I also have some right here that I've already used and just kept out. And I have this in my stack and sort tray here because I love just to have the dies that I'm reaching for just right here at the ready on my workspace. And these little trays come in handy for that. Now I have listed in the supplies this Hello Bloom. Here's the thing. That's a pretty big die set. I only used one die from it. Again, not a necessary supply to make or break this class. This is a good die set. You have thanks in here. You have a handwritten hello that's absolutely beautiful. And then you have this connected hello as well. This is the only one we're using. If you have a chipboard sentiment, if you have a die cut in another sentiment, for sure use that. I'm just sharing with you what it is I grab for my making. I called these stamps. This is tickets. This is the nested stitch tickets. And I will forever be getting these two confused. I don't know, some sort of weird mental block. And these are the nested stitch stamps, just two of them. There's two larger sizes to this. I use these all the time. And I use these as frames because the middles of this cuts out. So otherwise, if you have ephemera that has frames in it, if you have other frames, if you have another nested die set that's with frames, use that. Take advantage of that, okay? Now, I also have listed in our supplies butterflies, and we're using a couple different butterflies. And either I'm going to use the dies that I just showed you, or I am grabbing from my stash things like some of my rub-ons and some of my nested, not nested, terracotta. I use the last of my terracotta laser cuts. So not exceedingly necessary. Look and see what you have for die cuts for butterflies. Okay, die cuts, floral and foliage. I am loving this One Perfect Day wildflower laser cuts. I actually got 2 packages. I didn't need to for what's taking place in the classroom. I did use quite a few. I'm so happy I have more left over. You see here and on the list labels. I have provided a PDF in the classroom for labels that we are going to be altering as well as utilizing in the makes in and throughout this whole entire class. So this is exclusive to the classroom. I have listed paper. It's white or neutral. You could even use mixed media. It's just we're making a little small template. It could completely be a scrap of paper. Nothing that in any way, shape, or form needs to be bought separately. I will be using mixed media because we will be playing with some inky backgrounds. And this is my most favorite all time, I think, for right now, ink or paper to use when I am using a wet medium like inks. One Perfect Day is the highlighted collection for this class. That being said, I bought 3 things. I bought the wildflower laser cuts that I already showed you, the 6x8, we're going to be in and out of this paper for every single project, I guarantee you. Still quite a bit left. And then I also grabbed the 12x12 solids collection pack. Not exceedingly necessary. I did use one sheet of this for a lesson in here, and I use the entire sheet. So if you have cardstock that's similar to the coloration of the One Perfect Day, for sure use that. You will need a full sheet. Okay, I have this lovely piece of paper here from Photoplay called Memories, and we use this in the class. It is, again, not exceedingly necessary because I also have listed on our supplies tickets. Look for tickets in your stash. If by any way, shape, or form you have ever collected anything 49 and Market, there are tickets of some fashion in the ephemera of those collections. If the color's right, those will absolutely work. If you want to cut your own tickets, which sometimes we do, use a die for that in one of your favorite vintagey papers. This was not a necessary purchase. I just saw it and I had to have it. Just to be honest with you, it's so pretty. So pretty. So like I said, I listed paper tickets from your stash. We'll need vellum. I'm always using vellum. You won't need a whole pack. I just grabbed my pack. You'll maybe need a sheet, if that. I have on our list these rub-ons. These are from 49 and Market. They're Hickory Essential Text Essentials. There are no more at ScrapbookCom. As soon as I released my preliminary supply list, they sold out. There are some other colorways. Pink would work. Anything just kind of neutral. Grab that One Perfect Day paper and you're going to see what color we need. The alternative to the rub-on could be a text type stamp. Again, not crucial to the make, but it is something that I utilized for the projects that I made for you. Sentiments. Now, sentiments was tricky, and I talk about that a lot in the classroom. I did not buy, I'm going to talk about this for a minute, because it's also the next item after this. I did not buy the One Perfect Day chipboard. For me, it was very, very wedding centric, while there were definitely some other phrases and words that you could use that for any theme. I just didn't want to have all the extra, and I challenged myself, what can I find inside the classroom? Inside my studio. I used these clippings on occasion. I didn't use these remnant rubs, but they would be appropriate. I have used in the past the word Fetty stamps from ScrapbookCom. There's one sentiment and a circle element on the back of the packaging for the laser cuts. I use that. These guys also are not available at ScrapbookCom currently, but I use some of these chipboard as well. And I use some old stash that's not available at all. So this is a huge encouragement to shop your stash for phrases, phrase stickers, phrase stamps. Look at the bottom of pattern paper. A lot of times there's phrases there as well. Sequins, we're using sequins in this class. Sizzix Cherry Blossom, one of my most favorite sequins ever. And then we need a lot, not a lot, but a lot of, okay, let me say that again. We need some grungy type stamps, some wordy stamps. I do not think you have to buy all of these. These are just ones that I grab for very often. And this is for kind of a special lesson. I haven't done this type lesson before, but you just need something that's got postage, script, maybe some words, some grunge. There's lots out there. This one here, parts of this grunge are great too. Just something to make a distressed, grungy kind of a background. Shop your stash. I will have this listed in the supply list, however. And I'm using my two favorite stencils. This is the dotted, this is the little boxes. These get used in one of our lessons. The Distress Oxide inks that I'll be using will be Antique Linen, Lost Shadow, Scorched Timber, and Tattered Rose, along with, I think I may or may not have the Tattered Rose Distress Spritz rather listed. I never used it, but this is a perfect project to use this on. I think I just get really project centric, and I kind of forget to utilize some of the things that I think I'm going to use. These are the Distress Oxide sprays that we'll be using: Pumice Stone, Victorian Velvet, and Tattered Rose. And you're also going to need a water sprayer of some sort. And then the adhesives that I'll be putting to work, these are all the 2mm sized foam adhesives. I'm using the little squares, the big squares, the 1/8 strips, and always the 1/4 inch double-sided adhesive. All right, let's wrap this up with the tools that I am grabbing for in each and every one of these lessons at some point. A bone folder, a craft knife, a craft pick, a heat tool. Yeah, a heat tool. I'm trying to think, how much are we using the heat tool? But I do utilize that. Ink blending tool. I just am needing one for pinks. A metal ruler. Mint tape, either the inch or the 1/2 inch. Either one will work. I don't have it on my table, but we'll need some paper towel and we'll need a pencil. I'm using the multi-hole punch. Where is it? The punch reinforced hole. This one here. Sanding disc, yet again. Scissors. And a tiny attacher. Always a trimmer. Always working on my workspace mat. And I also have this tiny ink blending tool, just to add a little bit of this brown ink. However you go about that, that's fine. That wraps up all the things we need to gather. The more we have gathered, the more we have ready to go, the less frustrated we get when we're in the mix and we're in the make and we just want to do the thing. So I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know any questions you have in the comments, and I'll see you in the classroom.